Hello and welcome to the 111th episode of Downtime Podcast. Wow, triple digits, Alyssa. Well, I mean, triple ones.
And welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, we're finally back together doing another episode.
Hope you had a great vacation.
I did. I'm back. I'm still pretty jet lagged. I was in Osaka in Japan. It was super cool. I mean, I will talk more about it in a different podcast, but overall, man, my trip went like this. I arrived, had a huge schedule to do all these things in. I went and did everything from like doing Mario Kart to whiskey tasting, to meeting up with some friends. I went to USJ, which is Universal Studios Japan.
How was that?
Oh man, it was pretty cool. It's different than the one in Hollywood or the one in Florida. They do have similar rides, like the Harry Potter ride. I've never ridden the Harry Potter ride before, and I finally got to do it. It was just interesting because all the characters, of course, were speaking Japanese, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." I got motion sickness from that, and that was the first ride we ever did. So I was like, "Oh man,
wow,
yeah." And so then we kind of chilled for a bit, and then we rode some other stuff. There was Jaws. Jaws is cool. There's no studio tour as there is in Hollywood because, of course, they don't shoot movies at Universal Studios Japan.
It's more of just a theme park.
Exactly, and it was cool. I went to Jurassic Park. I wanted to ride the Jurassic Park ride, but it was unfortunately closed for maintenance. They were just fixing some stuff, but they did have a dinosaur show. So what would happen is at a certain time, I don't know what time, but it just happened to be that we were walking through the park at the time, and they have these dinosaurs come out. Clearly, are people in suits, and they come out and you can touch them, and then there's this like show where there's like herbivores and like some velociraptors come out. It's pretty cool. It's like the kids are scared, but they're also intrigued because kids love dinosaurs.
That is very awesome. I didn't even know they had a show there.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. The other cool thing was there's a section of the park called San Francisco, and
I heard about that.
Yeah, it's based on Fisherman's Wharf / Ghirardelli Square. So, and a little bit of Chinatown, but that's about it. But I thought it was really cool. It was a cool recreation of the Fisherman's Wharf sign.
How accurate is it?
I'm not accurate at all. But the only thing that's accurate is the sign Fisherman's Wharf. Everything past that is like...
You're talking about the one that has the crab in the middle, right?
Correct, yes. But everything behind that sign is like compressed versions. Imagine like Watch Dogs 2. You know, like the map they have of San Francisco isn't accurate. It isn't one for one, but they had to take some creative liberties with how they displayed it, and that's exactly what USJ's San Francisco is like.
For sure.
Like, do you remember the Buena Vista, that cafe near Ghirardelli Square?
The Irish bar, right?
Yeah, so it's there. It says Buena Vista. There's a sign.
Is it really there? Why is it there? Sorry.
Exactly. I was like, okay, this is weird.
Of all the places,
right?
So like this bar, the urban legend says, which by the way I learned from you, Jeremy, is that this is the first bar in the United States that created the Irish coffee.
Yeah,
which is whiskey, right. Which is whiskey coffee, and I think a little bit of Bailey. So
that's right. Yeah. It's it says it on the menu at Buena Vista.
I know.
So yeah, that was kind of cool.
That's so random. Sorry,
but like it's okay. It's not a real cafe. It's literally just a facade. Like, you know, there was just a window. Inside were like little tables, and there were menus on the table. And I tried zooming in on the menus, and it doesn't say Irish coffee. Was slightly disappointed.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah. So overall, it was cool. My favorite section of the park was they have a temporary section called Cool Japan, and Cool Japan is a section where they showcase rides from, I guess, Japanese culture. For example, there's an Attack on Titan ride.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. It's not meant to be permanent though. I feel like they even stated on like the park maps that they're gonna change it out every few years, and I was like, okay, I can see why they would do it, because it's more of a something where they can kind of modulate the park in a way. Like a certain section will always change. There was also a Sailor Moon ride. There was a Godzilla versus Evangelion ride. So you could clearly see that there's a heavy influence with anime there. And also Lupin the Third was a ride. That's more of a permanent ride. It replaced
especially with the history of Lupin and how popular that character is.
Oh yeah, and the ride is based off of a car chase scene, and the car chase scene, I think, is based off of the Castle of Cagliostro, which is one of the most famous anime movies. Steven Spielberg has named it as one of his favorite car chase sequences of all time.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious that they would make a ride out of that, because Lupin is a thief, and what he does is he just like sneaks into places and steals stuff, and there's all of these hijinks that happen. So the most action is when he's running away from the police. So it's kind of cool to see a ride based off of that.
Was there One Piece?
No, there wasn't.
That one's a little bit shocking, but you have quite a few other legendary animes included, so maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah. And then 2020 for Nintendo Land, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nintendo Land's coming out as a piece of Universal Studios Japan. You could see the cranes putting it under construction.
For sure.
Yeah, the Nintendo Land for Japan is like Galaxy's Edge for the US. People are like hotly anticipating it. Like, when's it gonna come out?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it was dope. It was fun. It was really cool overall. I liked the food there. Not like the big meals, but they had like popcorn, because they're trying to like imitate Tokyo Disneyland in a certain sense, since Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea have themed popcorn, or flavored popcorn, I should say. Like there's like kettle corn, there's curry flavored popcorn. There's different flavors that kind of make it unique in a sense, and Universal Studios Japan is trying to be unique, but also take some pages out of Disney's book in a certain sense.
For sure. Yeah, speaking of Galaxy Edge, I think that the embargo of you have to have a reservation to go to Galaxy Edge just dropped. So now anyone can go to Galaxy Edge starting in July.
So it'll be even more crowded.
It's going to be terrible. Don't go to Disneyland until fall.
I'm not gonna go until like 2021 when there's like no one there, because everyone already went to Galaxy's Edge.
Oh yeah. And then it's not even complete yet. It's not even done yet. So
yeah, all the rides aren't out yet.
Yeah, you just gotta wait. It's not worth it.
Exactly.
It's just
2021.
just that Disney is a money hungry machine.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Typical.
They basically released an early access game, and then they're like, okay, everyone have fun. You'll get the full game maybe later this year.
Yep.
At the end of my trip, I kind of got sick. I got food poisoning, and then my flight got canceled. And
I didn't know your flight got canceled.
Yeah, I went to Seattle for a hot minute, and then I went back to SF. So
wow.
I'll talk about that more later, but
right.
just stay tuned for another episode where we talk about stuff that's not video game related. Another side quest episode.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about.
Oh yeah. So today our focus is on Judgment.
Yeah, so the game came out officially on 24th, 25th, one of them, and we've been playing it.
For those that don't know, Judgment is an action-adventure game in third person, mostly. It is a legal thriller, and it's set in the Yakuza world, specifically the city of Kamurocho. And you play as a detective, Private Eye. His name is Takayuki Yagami, and he's investigating a murder case within the city that happens.
Yes.
And the main character is portrayed by super famous, popular Japanese actor, Takuya Kimura, or in Japan as he's known as Kimutaku. And it looks just like him. It's pretty cool one-to-one resemblance.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say overall this game, it feels like a Yakuza game, but it really isn't. And that's what I like most about it, is that some people would call Ryu Ga Gotoku Studio lazy for using the same engine, using the same map, but I don't think they're lazy. I think they're being pretty creative with it, since there's all these little things that they always change within the city. And Toshihiro Nagoshi, the creator of the series, has come out and always said that the city is a character itself within the game, and it's always changing. Every single iteration of the game, there's always something new and different, and I think that's super cool that they put little pieces. They still have the little pieces from previous Yakuza games, and you can see them out from the outside. Sometimes you can't really go inside of those buildings, but it's super cool that that Judgment takes place in this whole world, and it goes to show that it's kind of like a reflection of our lives, where everyone lives in their own little bubble, and they kind of only focus on what they want to focus on. So you have this whole world of the Yakuza going on, but then you also have the people fighting with the law, people defending others and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Alyssa, what are your thoughts so far overall?
So when I was playing the game, there were a lot of Yakuza-esque things that were a little bit ridiculous. For example, you have a top-notch defense attorney who somehow knows martial arts really well, and just the wackiness of Yakuza, that I was just like, oh, all right, well, not surprised at all. But what was cool is now for me, now that I've gone through, I guess what I would say, tutorial land, and now that I've done a lot of the stuff, even though it has a lot of even though at the end of the day it isn't in a Yakuza engine and universe, so it'll have random boss battles, it'll have random people who try to mug you even though you're not even a Yakuza anymore. Mm-hmm. But and then you'll have these random things like whatchamacallit, you'll be friends with random popo store owners and all of these things, but there's so many things that are also different at the same time. And especially after you finish chapter 1, you realize how different the game is, and I'm glad that they made it that way. Just right off the bat, Yagami is definitely Kiryu is quiet in terms of his, he's kind of, you gotta admit, he's kind of soft-spoken in terms of his personality. He really doesn't, he's not aggressive or obnoxious like Majima, but Yagami is very much he's if you want to put it in Dungeons and Dragons terms, he's in the lawful category. He was a lawyer, he was all of these things, and I think that affects the way that we see him in the game. He's not just this buff ass Yakuza who everyone is scared of and everyone's trying to attack. This is just a regular skinny guy who's just going around Kamurocho, and he has his own detective agency, and his personality is very much just, I'm just kind of doing what people tell me to do.
Yeah.
Or I'm following whatever the case is telling me to do. Yeah,
I'd say he isn't as rigid as Kiryu. He does have a more, I don't know, open personality, but he's still kind of brooding in a certain way. I mean, something did happen to him that kind of made him this sense, and it seems like before that the big incident happened, he was a little bit more personable, but now he seems a little bit more, not closed off, but just darker and a little bit more broodier, and that's fine. I mean, the man's wearing pretty tight jeans. Of course, he's in a lot of pain.
It's true. But he has a V-neck, though, so we don't know what pain that really is.
Is it a V-neck? It looks more like a round, like a deep round.
Is it a crew or is it a V?
It's a crew. It's more of a crew, yeah.
Okay.
I think they just wanted to make it easy for people to cosplay. He's
got
also
it.
got a wallet chain. You see that wallet chain on his
Dude,
back? Right
I
pocket?
know, and his jeans are pretty ripped too. He has a nice leather jacket. He's pretty
Yeah.
stylish. He's styling right now. And on that topic, it's nice to know that that your main character doesn't have to wear Yakuza outfits. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I love the flower shirts, don't get me wrong, and I love Kiryu's like red defined I'm in a gang look, but it's very nice, the change of pace.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, the Dragon Engine also still looks beautiful as always.
Yeah.
It's, it's great. I did notice something. Oh, go ahead.
What did you notice?
Every time that you finish a fight, Yagami says the exact same things that Kiryu does. Have you noticed that in Japanese?
What I feel like if you say it, then I'll remember it.
So he says two things that I've noticed. He says, "Shibaraku netero," which means sleep for a while.
Oh yeah, he definitely says that one. Yeah.
And then the other one he says is like he goes like "taku jikan kuchimatta," which means that took up a lot of my time.
The first one, yeah. I think the second one I need to see it again.
Yeah, because he says it kind of quietly after every fight, so it's hard to pick up. But
yeah,
he says those like exactly the same way. I'm like, why? Like, why did they have to dub that in? Why can't? Yeah, I don't know. Why can't he say something different?
I don't know. The sleep well one though. He definitely says that.
Yeah, and Kiryu says that too, and I'm like wondering like why are they using that asset still? I don't know.
So I'm not gonna lie. I think up until this point, by the way, I'm not that far in the game, but I don't understand Yagami's motivation yet. Or
go on.
Okay, so when I first heard about this game and I was watching the trailers and everything, and like this was like last year trailers, you know what I mean? So my assumption of the game going into this was I thought that Yagami was going to be a prosecutor type lawyer. And what happened was he had a case where the murderer, he couldn't prosecute the murderer, and the murderer went off and then killed another person who I actually thought at least like from the trailers, I thought that he knew the girl who got murdered, but it turns out it wasn't the case. But like I thought that he was upset that he didn't get this guy behind bars. But then this year, and now I'm playing the game, turns out he's a defense attorney, and he's upset that he did his job well, and he did get someone off, but that someone killed someone else, but he did exactly what his job is supposed to be. And now he is a detective who is defending Yakuza, which is like, what? And so we're probably whatchamacallit. There's got to be something that's going to be introduced in the next chapters that will like make more sense, but then I'm just like, what? So you're mad that this guy got off and murdered again, and then you're defending people who are probably going to be murderers again, and on top of that, the Yakuza paid for your law school? What? So I'm just so confused right now as of the first chapter of the story.
Where did they talk about him being paid? Where did they talk about the Yakuza paying for his law school?
Oh wait, maybe I might have misread that part, but it turns I thought what Yagami and Kaito were like when Kaito was with the Yakuza, Yagami was like what, like, you know, Matsugane when he was talking to Yeah, it seemed like he'd known Yagami for like more than 20 years.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe I misinterpreted that. I probably misinterpreted that, but I was just like, I just don't understand why I don't know what your motivation is and why you're upset. but that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. I think I can kind of answer your questions because um I think so this game is 13 chapters long. Like I think we're going to get an
Yeah,
official
that's
answer.
you see, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking like
Right.
I think just it doesn't make sense because it's chapter 1 right right now. But
Right. But what I think so far is that, and I could be wrong, but so Yagami had that incident where he kind of fell from grace in his own eyes. He stopped being a practicing lawyer, practicing defense attorney,
yeah.
and he became a private investigator. And I think that he became a private investigator because it was a job that he could just like not really think too much about and still kind of do quote unquote detective work without being a detective or without being a defense attorney. Um, and I think that he just took cases from Yakuza because one, he knew the world already, but also two, he really didn't care as long as he got money and he did the job because he's at the point in his life where he's like, well, my best years are behind me now, and I kind of just want to see where this goes. You know, I feel like he's feeling that way since he kind of was disgraced for acquitting a murderer, and now he's in a mood where he doesn't really care about anything, and he'd rather do this than go back to being a defense attorney and then be wrong again. Does that make sense?
I guess that makes sense. But the thing is that he wasn't wrong as a defense attorney. He did exactly what his job was. I guess like my question is, if you're a if you're a lawyer and you become a defense attorney, you know exactly what you're getting into. You know that like majority of the time you are probably going to defend a lot of people who really did do the crime.
Yeah, totally. But also, Japan is a country where they explain this in the game, and it's true, where 99% of the convicts are, or 99% of people are convicted, and it's because you're guilty until proven innocent, whereas in the U.S. you're innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So I've watched a couple dramas, Japanese dramas, where there's even one called like 99.8% or something like that, and it's a drama about a defense lawyer. And being a defense lawyer in Japan is very hard because you not only have to do the detective work yourself in a certain sense, but also to find out why this person is innocent, as opposed to trying to find out why they're guilty. So I think it's not an easy job to do, but at the same time, back to your original point, like, yeah, it's still kind of confusing as to his motives and all that stuff, as to what he's trying to accomplish in his life, and kind of from here out until the end of the game.
What's at least clear right now is, I think, and it was in the conversation with Shintani Sensei, by the way, that Yagami is more of a truth seeker, where when he was a defense lawyer, you just had to do the job of defending the person, but no one ever really figured out in the end what the truth actually was. And at least that motivation of being a detective is clear, that he's more interested in figuring out what the truth is versus just defending or prosecute, whatever it is, just doing the task and calling it a day and then leaving it to the police to figure it out, which also seemed to imply that the police are being police and not figuring out exactly what happened.
Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that there's more to this story than meets the eye, as is every Yakuza game, and this will be no different, despite being a spin-off. So, I mean, we'll see. There's probably going to be a lot of twists and layers that we don't or won't expect until now, so it's going to be fun to see where this goes.
Not to mention, there's a lot of characters introduced in Yagami's life. You have everyone at his previous job at Genda, and then now you have Kaito, and then you have potentially this prosecuting office who was a previous love interest of Yagami.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, I was like, It's about...
There's more. There's going to be more characters.
I know, exactly. So this is going to be a very interesting story as it all unfolds. There's a lot of players right now.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
But those are my thoughts about the story aspect of it for now. Probably
Cool.
next week we'll have more to talk about.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited for what's gonna come next in this game. I mean, yeah, I'm enjoying it so far overall. I really like this game. I like how yeah, I just like how the characters play out, and I like Yagami so far as a character. Of course, if I didn't like him, then I probably wouldn't be playing the game, right?
He's really cool. I'm excited to learn more about him.
Same, yeah.
In terms of mechanics, I love detective games and I like investigative games. The detective part of it is definitely up my alley, where a lot of it is you have to ask questions, a lot of it is you have to pick locks to try to get into places. And what I like too is that in all of these situations, the first course of action is not kind of going brute force like Kiryu because he's a Yakuza. It's, oh, all right, we gotta sneak in Kaito. How are we gonna do this? I got my drone.
Yeah, I love that. Like, drones are such a weirdly big thing in this game. Like, I feel like it's a little bit too late to the hype, but I mean, it's just really funny that there's drones in the game.
I just think it's funny that every situation Kaito is like, but I got my drone though.
Yeah, like, how could we go find Murase? Oh, well, I have my drone. Like, what? Why? Why?
But I love it though. I like the very first tutorial scene where you're following someone, and all of a sudden you're in the alleyway. You spot the drone. Where the hell did this drone come from?
Yeah, he's like, Kaito's like, look up, I'm here, look up, and then Yagami's like, oh, is that your drone? Like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, man, it's my drone. He's like so happy. He's like a Yakuza with his like favorite drone toy. It's so funny.
Oh my god.
I really like Kaito as a character. My favorite scene.
I really like Kaito too.
Oh yeah, he's like a I wouldn't say discount Kiryu because he doesn't deserve that, but he's like Kiryu in a certain sense. He's really big and strong, and yeah.
But he's definitely comic relief for sure.
Oh yeah, no, some of his dialogue is just amazing.
And it's nice to know that the main character has a best friend that they could hang out with and do detective work together. So
yeah, they're like from opposite worlds, but it's great because they work together. Like they really their chemistry does work well together.
We're probably gonna find out how they met too, because if they've known each other for more than 20 years, at least by what Matsugane said, then they've been friends for like a while.
Oh, totally. Yeah. My favorite scene is when you're in the alleyway and then Murase comes and then Yagami's like, oh shit, I have to fight all these guys. And then I was so prepared as the player to just like, all right, we're gonna beat these guys up. And then out of nowhere, Kaito just comes and jumps and does that like that kick. Yeah, he does that kick like what that Kiryu would do. Yeah. And I was like, yo, that's fucking badass. He's like, let's do this. I was like, and then even Yagami was surprised. He's like, wow, where'd you come from? That was a pretty sweet kick, man. I was like, he's with us.
Dragon of Kaito.
I know. So cool.
My prediction is either Shingami is always going to be in every game, there's always a person who seems like the antagonist or the person who seems like, oh, this person rubs the main character the wrong way, but they'll end up being best friends at the end of it. And so either Shingami is going to be that guy or he got some shady shit going on, but we'll see.
I mean, there's a reason why Shintani's always wearing the glasses. I don't know. It was weird. He was like wearing them at night too, and I'm like, okay, got your stunner glasses.
Oh, Shintani, my bad.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shintani's got his stunner shades at night, and I'm like, all right, I see you, boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're doing, but we'll see.
Yes. I don't think it's going to be in this direction, but the fact that you investigate and you choose clues and you have to make decisions on what you ask people, it would have been really cool if they had multiple endings to this game, just because a lot of detective games go in that route where there's different things that could pop up. I don't think that Sega and Ryu Ga Gotoku did that, but it would have been pretty crazy if they accomplished that.
Yeah, that would be a really cool direction that the game would go in. But I can kind of see why they wouldn't want to do that, since they're kind of hoping that this would do well and they could set it up for sequels or maybe like a crossover between the Yakuza games and the Judgment games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'm a huge fan of the Phoenix Wright games, and I think a couple of them have some pretty open-ended ending, some open-ended end games, and I really want. And I really like that the Judgment games kind of have similar game mechanics as the Phoenix Wright games, as far as investigations go, and kind of the whole, like, let's look at the crime scene and find some evidence and figure out what went wrong here, and I just want to see some multiple endings. Like, we don't have to go all David Cage on this. I just want to know more, and I kind of want to see if there's, like, I want there to be a good and a bad ending in a certain sense.
Oh, that would be very cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
But I feel like they're too one-track minded right now to do that.
Yeah, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to throw this game out there. But aside from Phoenix Wright, this game very feels like LA Noire to me.
Yeah, totally.
The detective parts feel more like LA Noire than they do Phoenix Wright. But they're games that share the same exact mechanics, but just the feeling of it is like it.
Especially the parts when you're going first person and kind of like
yes,
looking at clues and looking at stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you been getting the cats? Have you been looking at all the cats?
Okay, so it didn't click with me until I started chapter 2 that there were fucking cats, because what would happen is the very first time you did the tutorial in the alleyway, you heard a cat, and I was thinking, why is there a cat? Who's meowing right now? It better not be.
Right.
It better not be this drone pretending to be a cat. No, a part of me straight up was thinking, does this drone have a cat noise so they don't suspect anything?
Right.
And then I went to Don Quixote, and they were selling cat food, and that's when I realized, oh shoot, there's cats in this game, and
again?
Again, and so, but then what happened is in the security office of Marseille's place, I was more in mind that, all right, I should be looking for cats, and I couldn't find the cat at all. And I was like, where's the cat? And so now that I'm like a few into chapter 2, I'm like, all right, I gotta figure out how to find these cats.
So the cat that you were missing from in KJ Art, Murase's home base of operations, the cat was outside the window in front of the door. It took me 5 minutes to find that damn cat. I found all the cats so far, but that one was the hardest one. I was like, it's not in the room. You can't leave the room, and it has to be somewhere outside the room. So I looked outside, and I was like, it's near the front door, but it's like 2 doors away. Oh my god, it was such. I
can't believe this shit. Wow. I wasted so much time in the security office figuring out where the cat was hiding. It's like, how come you can't open these boxes? How come you can't open these doors? What's going on right now?
Yeah, it was outside the whole time, and goddamn, it was not fun.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, so I'm gonna look for the cats now.
Yes, please. You get those, 5, like that +5 SP points or whatever.
I know. By the way, I just like the different apps in the game of how to level up. I like the level up system in this game and how everything's broken up. And it looks really clean. And, it's cool that you can buy furniture in this game for your office, just all of these different things. I like how it just seems like they improved upon the engine vastly for this game. And smoothed it out even more. And it's great. I love it.
Like, I can't believe it's still the Dragon Engine, because everyone looks so beautiful. Not to say that, like, not to knock on Yakuza 6's introduction of the Dragon Engine, but I still think that since that was the first game to use it, they're like, okay, we're gonna make it look this way. But then when Judgment finally came out, I'm like, wow, everything is so detailed. Like Yagami looks exactly like the actor. It's really scary that he looks just like it. Of course, everything still looks like a video game, and you have to have that certain touch of unreality to make it a little bit more believable. Which is kind of crazy to say, but I really like it so far.
For sure. This is a great pickup, I think. I think this is a really good game so far.
Yeah, no, I'm going to continue playing it. It's going to take a long time to beat. I think it's going to take me the rest of the summer to play because I got other stuff going on in my personal life that I just want to take my time with this game and enjoy it because I spend a lot of time running around in first person in the game because I really like just Tokyo in this game since it's just so realistic. Like I still can't believe how they captured it because all the sounds, literally like the people talking about stuff. There's like little dialogue bubbles that pop up, and I'm a huge fan of just the whole atmosphere of this game.
Same, very much like it as always with the Yakuza or with the Ryu Ga Gotoku series.
Yeah. So, Alyssa, you and I are going to talk more about this game as time goes on. Of course, I think we should do a spoiler cast for this game since it is part of the Yakuza franchise.
Yep.
And
Oh,
so
and this story is going to go on its head, so we got to talk about it.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna do a deep dive into this game. We're gonna do a huge spoiler cast, like once she and I both finish this game.
Yeah. The my only announcement is that Ryu Ga Gotoku on July 10th is going to make an announcement about the new Yakuza game, which is Shin Ryu. What is it? Shin Ryu Ga Gotoku, right?
Yeah, Shin Ryu Ga Gotoku.
Yep. So we don't know what the announcement is, but it's happening on July 10th.
Ooh, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah.
I'm super looking forward to that because I've been waiting a while. Like Judgment has been filling the void, but come on, I mean, like, I just want to see it.
Yes.
I just want to know.
You just want to know.
Yeah.
And
that's it. And anything else? Yeah. Anything else before we close out?
I think that's it for this week.
Cool. Alyssa, where can people go if they want to ask us a question?
If you have a question about this podcast or anything else, you can go to www.Downtime.Live. We have a form you can fill out, or on the left side, there is a Discord link, which you can go to and join. Also, there is a Discord link in the show notes when you're listening to this podcast, so you can press on that as well. You can make a comment anywhere we have the podcast, YouTube, Podbean, Stitcher, and we'll reply back and we'll address it on the next episode. And if you like this podcast, rate us on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. By the way, Jeremy, did you know that Apple no longer is going to have iTunes anymore? What they did was they divided all of their entities into 4 different apps. So there's going to be now Apple TV, Apple Podcast, Apple Music, and then Apple Movies.
Oh, I didn't know they're getting rid of iTunes. Wow, that's huge.
So it's like the thing is like iTunes is just the over-encompassing thing that you can get everything off of, and now they're just like, we're gonna split these all up into 5 different apps now.
Don't really see the logic in that, but okay.
It's like just the name iTunes is disappearing, but it's the same exact thing still. I don't get it.
Okay, whatever they say.
Whatever they say.
Ugh, I don't own an iPod or Apple phone, so yeah, I'm good.
But that's it. Thanks for listening to the 111th episode of Downtime Podcast.
See you guys next time.
Peace.